Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is Dr. Shahana. The today's topic is the polycystic ovary syndrome. What is polycystic ovary syndrome? There are various definitions of the polycystic ovary syndrome. It is believed that mainly three problems are there which encompasses the problem in the ovary regarding the generation of the cyst in the ovary. There are multiple cysts either due to the ovulatory dysfunction, due to the hyperandrogenism, due to the any other explosion of the disorder. A very common disorder, almost affect 1 in 9 women. It is one of the major cause of the anevolution in diagnosis. There may be a oligo or there may be an anevolution either due to the androgen excess or there may be a presence of the polycystic ovary. It is begin in teen years or early in 20s. It is multifactorial. Depending upon the condition, it is an inheritance disorder. The main link is with the insulin resistance and the metabolic syndrome, especially the family history of the type 2 diabetes mellitus. So, insulin resistance is the main pathogenical factor that lead to the metabolic syndrome, and it is prevalence in the women is about 43%. Moreover, it is also associated with the thyroid dysfunction. It need to be treated with the proactivity with the oral contraceptive pills and then cyclic progesterone to decrease the risks of the endometrial cancer from unopposed estrogen. For fertility purpose, we have to use certain insulin sensitizers, that is metformin, that may decrease the insulin resistance enough to allow ovulation along with low carb diet and exercise, and the ideal body weight should be maintained, otherwise ovulation induction need to be conceived. Milder cases for the polycystic ovary syndrome, ovulatory person, low progesterone levels that have a higher risk of miscarriages. If we discuss in detail what is the pathophysiology, there is a decreased peripheral insulin sensitivity, consequently lead to the hyperinsulinemia. Strong possible evidence showing the possible hypothalamic defect, or there may be a post-receptor defect in the adipose tissues. So glucose intolerance is due to the post-receptor defect or due to the insulin resistance. If it is the defect of the hypothalamus, there may be elevated levels of the luteinizing hormone, or there may be a hyperandrogenism, or there may be an ovulation. There may be an insufficient follicle stimulating hormone that stimulates the granulosa cells. If we talk about this problem, then hyperinsulinemia increasing the hyperandrogenism, and this will lead to the more production of the luteinizing hormone. There will be a more conversion of the androgens to the estrogen, and then it will go to the negative feedback mechanism to the hypothalamus and to the anterior pituitary gland that inhibits the luteinizing surge levels that is required for the ovulation. Change in the concentration of the LH is not there. LH is already elevated in all days. These are the endocrine abnormalities that have been found in polycystic ovary syndrome, that is elevated luteinizing hormone concentration with the normal follicle stimulating hormone concentration, or there may be increased testosterone activity, increased insulin resistance, that is the compensatory with the hyperinsulinemia. What are the symptoms in the clinical presentation? Women shows the specific type of the skin condition, which is the acanthosis nigricans. Dark coloration in body pores and creases. It typically affects the armpits, groin and neck. Then this acanthosis nigricans is a skin condition characterized by the darker area, a velvety discoloration in the body pores and creases. Other symptoms are acne, alopecia, there may be amenorrhea, or there may be oligomenorrhea, or dysfunctional uterine bleeding, there may be infertility, there will be a central obesity and hirsutism. These are the pictures. You can see that it is a hirsutism, central obesity, acne, alopecia, and the acanthosis nigricans. How it is diagnosed? Usually, the married women come to the clinics and they visit several gynecologicals due to the problem in the conceptions. Usually, at that point, it is diagnosed. For diagnosis, symptoms play a very important role, and then ultrasound examination will reveal the condition of the uterus and the ovary. You can see that there are multiple cysts instead of the one ovule. You can see that in both pictures there are numerous types of the cysts are present in the ultrasound report. Biochemical examination revealed the elevated serum testosterone level and the elevated free androgen index. There will be an elevated LH concentration, and the higher fasting glucose insulin ratio is more than 4.5. Besides the infertility problem, these patients also have hypertension, may have a dyslipidemia, it may have obesity, and the fasting blood glucose level is high, that is more than 110 milligram per deciliter. So any of three along with the ultrasound will show will confirm the polycystic disease. These patients are at high risk of developing the metabolic syndrome. So we have to delay or we have to slow down the metabolic sequel. There may be a deposition of platelet plaque, reduction of blood flow. These patients have a 7-fold increased risk of the myocardial infarction. There is a complete change in the behavior of the cholesterol and the glucose. Here the levels of HDL are low and the levels of LDL became high. It is the normal artery. However, the artery become injured in that situation. This is the arterial wall. There may be a patches of the atheroma that causing the narrowing of the artery. Here, due to this problem, due to low concentration of the HDL, due to increased LDL levels, the patient have hypertension and other cardiovascular disorders. Why this occur? Because the patient have an increased activity of the hepatic lipases and there is altered lipolytic response to the insulin. There may be an impaired fibrinolytic activity that is due to the increased circulating levels of the PAI. That is plasminogen activator inhibitor, which is a member of superfamily that a principal inhibitor of the plasminogen that lead to the thrombus formation. These patients may undergo the metabolic syndrome and then patient may increase risk of the development of the type 2 diabetes mellitus, in which the patient is no longer to maintain its euglycemia stage by itself. There is impaired glucose tolerance, increased beta cell production of the insulin, there will be a beta cell exhaustion and inadequate insulin for the degree of the insulin resistance. So more insulin is there, but insulin resistance is developed. So what to do? We have to first modify the lifestyle, we have to reduce the body weight, we have to decrease the intake of fat, we have to decrease the intake of free sugars, we have to decrease the intake of the sweets, then we have to go for the physical exercise, we have to increase the dietary fibers. Treatment is supported by the insulin sensitizing agent like myquinate, thiazolidones, especially pioglitazone, rosiglitazone. Then we have go for the certain weight loss medication like phentermine and sibutramine and or Listat. Phentermine is amphetamine-like prescription medication that is used to suppress the appetite. It can help the weight loss by decreasing the hunger. Phentermine is not a safe drug. It can increase blood pressure and it has several interactions. You have to check its interaction first. It may aggravate the glaucoma. It may be dangerous in case of the thyroid problems. It is contraindicated in the pregnancy. Weight loss medications are now banned and they are not using currently. So in short, we have to use insulin sensitizers, among which metformin is the drug of choice. The second choice are the thiazolidone derivatives like pioglitazone and rosiglitazone. Metformin actually decreases the hepatic glucose production and decreases the insulin absorption of glucose and improves the insulin sensitivity by increasing the peripheral glucose uptake and utilization. So it's a complex mechanism that it basically improves the insulin receptor function by enhancing the certain types of the mediators by activation of the cyclic AMP. It improves the glucose transportation and also reduces the fatty acid synthesis. So overall it improves the insulin sensitivity. These are some common side effects of the metformin, like heartburn, stomach upset is the most common one, especially bloating is there immediately after the administration of the metformin. There may be a production of gas, there may be diarrhea, or there may be constipation. The major change in the body mass index is that it is capable to reduction in the weight. There is a profound weight loss. The major problem regarding the metformin is the black box warning, that is the lactic acidosis that occur in some individuals. It is a rare side effect. However, it is a very dangerous side effect that may lead to the change in the pH and of the body. That is an emergency situation that needs to be rectified immediately. If lactic acidosis occur, it might be treated with the bicarbonate supplements or IV fluid or oxygen, or with the use of certain types of the antibiotics depending upon the reason. Pioglitazone or thiazolidine basically selectively stimulates the nuclear receptors or oxysome proliferator activator receptors gamma, to a lesser extent alpha, that modulates the transcription of the gene involved in the control of the glucose and lipid metabolism in the muscles, in the adipose tissue and the liver. If we compare the rosiglitazone with pioglitazone, both of rosiglitazone is capable of increasement of the cholesterol as compared to the pioglitazone. Both drugs increasing the weight of a patient by 2 to 3 kg. Rest of the adverse effects are similar. So you can see that thiazolidine is a nuclear receptor peroxisome activator. It improves the glucose sensitivity to the insulin. Common side effects involve the throat irritation as common symptoms of the cold and the inflammation of the sinuses. There may be a urinary tract infections, muscle pain, dizziness, headache, and the gas. The major problem is the water retention that may lead to the weight gain. So this is all about the polycystic ovary syndrome. Thank you.